evidence to your feet. If you come planting just in my motherland, the forest.
Wetlands and swamps. However, in Delta State, sand is also mined from swamps, which is wetlands, lakes, inland dunes, and from riverbeds. In recent time, it has been observed that in Delta State, powerful individuals and corporations are the ones involved in these menace without due regard to environmental impact assessment. This photograph are live pictures, they are not from the internet. So we did what we call physical observation and field investigation. So we went to the field site to actually understudy. But at Ozoro, there is no river at Ozoro and Ughelli. So
nothing is done to them. What are you people working for?
What is the procedure for acquiring land? How long? Because land ownership is either freehold or for 99 years. Do you know so? Now, what are the impacts?
So the indiscriminate mining tells on us very well. The method of acquiring land for dredging, I think, is very odd in Ubrei-joe, where the owner of that particular land will just sell the land to somebody for as a freehold. We keep on dredging for a good number of years, decades and all that, without stop. Keep on dredging, of which is a very wrong manner. And this has affected us negatively. Without carrying out EIA, environmental impact assessment, it makes the land very, very unuseful after the mining of sand mining. I want to chip in this way that its impact affected the flora and fauna of that area, of that locality. Whenever the fauna or the flora has to do with the plants and the animals, it affects the number of fish species that are available there, because any little fluctuation in temperature of the water, it affects the reproduction of or the laying of eggs of the fishes, and it brings an invasive alien species. Due to that, to say, like Nepal plants, where they will come in, and originally the aboriginal owners of inhabitants of that habitat, they go away. Why the invasive alien species come and destroy them, which are affected our floras. And our normal forestry that are used for building reinforcement, like Lagucularia resmosa, the Avicenna nitinda, all these ones are affected. And this, no, they are scientific names. There's no way I can break them. Oh, and these ones, it makes erosion encroach in and make the place be muddy, which in the swamping area, it affects the mangrove swamp. And if you look very well, in this area, the white mangroves are not available in this area. The only white mangrove are only available when the red mangrove is there because of the pneumatophore, which will make the soil consolidated for the habitation of the Avicenna material. So all these ones, as have encroached our environment, affect us directly and indirectly in all ramifications. Thank you.
From Ughelli in Isokono local government area. Now, for some of us out there that may not know the meaning of indiscriminate, let's try to understand it. When we say indiscriminate, we're talking about uncontrolled. It is not controlled. Every Tom, Dick and Harry, having made a few millions, who want to go into sand dredging without actually knowing what is involved. What the person wants, the only thing the person is concerned is the little he wants to, the profit he wants to make out of it. Now, on land acquisition, there are different ways of acquiring land. Some of our persons out there, especially in the rural areas, they are hungry, they don't have money, they have this plot of land. So when someone with some millions just comes and so they don't even know the difference between freehold and leasehold in terms of selling of their land. The person will just come, push a few million, wave at their faces, they sell the land to them without even asking, what do you need the land for? What is the nature of the business? Therefore, those persons that indulge in the dredging, now they want to dredge. Like what I saw on the internet, if you must dredge, something you must do, maybe my brother here, Mr. Sadiri, will testify to that. Something you ought to do or you must do is to assess the level of sand you want to collect from that place and the period of time it will take you. But these persons, they don't do that because it doesn't even bother them. All they need is get the sand, sell, make their profit, buy flashy cars, build houses. That is what concerns them. Now, in the real truth, dredging brings fortune to those that are involved in it. They make money from it. The people in the community, they are gainfully employed. They work with them, they pay their salaries at the end of the month. Fine, that is the good part of it. What about the negative part of it? Now, when you dredge, like Mr. Sadiri said, you have to give at least 100 meters away from the town. They don't do that. If you don't give that distance, you are doing what? Causing problem in the nearest future to the buildings around that place. Let's look at a bridge at adversary community. That bridge is a death trap. Anywhere from now, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, or the next year. That bridge will do what? Collapse. Because the dredgers are just too close to that bridge. Some of us, we see the bridge, we know what that, we don't have the voice. What can we do? Apart from this medium that I'm opportune today now, I'm talking, maybe my brother who is going to air it, people will hear me, they will say, so this is actually what we are going to suffer from because of this dredging. Are you getting it? Now, apart from the buildings, the structures that are close that will be destroyed in the nearest future, what about the aquatic life? The aquatic lives are also what? Endangered. Some species may what? They just get, which word do I use there? Get extinct. Then what about the water level? You are deepening the river every now and then because you are looking for what? Money. So these are some of the dangers that are involved in the sand dredging. Then coming to the way forward, what do we do? Now, I want to believe some of the communities where this dredging act activity take place, the community leaders, they do benefit. How? The people, the dredgers, they give some stipends, some money to them for using their community for that business. Now, after collecting such money, what then can you tell the person when you are seeing the negative impact of that dredging act in your community? Absolutely nothing, because the person is what? Paying you. He bought the land to start with on a freehold basis.
So, my own best of knowledge, I'm from Bayelsa State, Tangale community in Ekirimo local government. Last year I went to my community and I saw them actually doing this dredging. So I asked a few questions. Then, unknown to me that I will one day come and start talking about it. So, but from my information I got last year, I noticed that there is nothing like payment whatsoever. Anybody can wake up from their sleep and go into the river and get whatever you want. And my community is one of the communities that are suffering from flood. Even if there's a little rain, we just see the water entering everywhere because the level of dredging taking place there as a result of competition for building houses is quite big. Everybody wants to have one of the fancy houses and big houses. And the dredging is not far from, I can just stand there and look straight, you see them in the act of dredging. So I see that is a very big challenge there because the wave of the water, at the level the water is deep now is unlike before. And the flood rate is also so high. And I sincerely want to thank our professional colleague here who has done a lot of training through your lecture. I'm very appreciative of what you did just now.
Now is on a very large scale since the inception of the Delta State Polytechnic, which opened windows of opportunity in the community. And many businessmen and women are now attracted into sand mining. And they acquire the land from individuals some kind of family, depending on the size of the land, without any benefit to the community, to the host community. Now, they carry out these indiscriminate activities without conducting EIA. I found out from a reliable source, someone from Ministry of Mines and Steel, to know if EIA is a precondition for one to be given a license to carry out mining. They said no. I asked, will that not be a problem if one goes into sand mining without EIA? They said people from Ministry of Environment are always disturbing that EIA is not a precondition for mining. And I find it funny. And I also see that the effect that EIA is carried out before dredging, and I find out that these activities they are carried out in Isoko, in Ozoro particularly, is causing a lot of havoc to us, despite the benefits that are attached to it. Without that, many people have been gainfully employed, they are earning their livelihood, they are paying money to the landowners. But the impacts are overwhelming. One of them is that we have lost our forest, we have lost our vegetation, and we all know what that means, that when there are no forests, when there are no vegetation in a place, the temperature of that place is usually very high. So that has brought a lot of climate change in the Ozoro community. And also a lot of farmlands have been lost. We have lost a lot of farmlands in the Ozoro community. Lands that are close to where dredgings are carried out, and the road they access to their dredging site, we have lost them. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't have land to farm again. And also we have lost a lot of our biodiversity, in the sense that organisms that cannot cope with the changes in the environment have now disappeared from the environment. It's causing a lot of concern to us. And apart from that, the activities of fishermen, their occupations are also threatened, because the site where they are carrying out their dredging is no more favorable for fishery productivity. And I also want to let you know that a lot of pools of water have also been created along the roads, which has given room for pests and insects to breed. And we also know the implication that will give room for the spread of diseases and infection. That is what we experience in the Ozoro community. So I want to suggest that anyone without EIA should not be given license to carry out mining. And
I will not dance to your beats. If you come planting just in my motherland, the forest, I will not sing with you. If you privatize my water in my fatherland, I will confront you with my fists. If flammation shame me dead to me, but business to you. I will expose your evil greed. If you don't live crude oil in the soil, I call in the whole entire sense.
What is the procedure for acquiring land? How long? Because land ownership is either freehold or for 99 years. Do you know so? Now, what are the impacts?
Ughelli, Ughelli non-government area, Delta State. So the indiscriminate mining tells on us very well. The method of acquiring land for dredging, I think, is very odd in Ubrei-joe, where the owner of that particular land will just sell the land to somebody for as a freehold. We keep on dredging for a good number of years, decades and all that, without stop. Keep on dredging, of which is a very wrong manner. And this has affected us negatively. Without carrying out EIA, environmental impact assessment, it makes the land very, very unuseful after the mining of sand mining. I want to chip in this way that its impact affected the flora and fauna of that area, of that locality. Whenever the fauna or the flora has the plants and the animals, it affects the number of fish species that are available there, because any little fluctuation in temperature of the water, it affects the reproduction of or the laying of eggs of the fishes, and it brings an invasive alien species. Due to that, to say like Nepal plants, where they will come in, and originally the aboriginal owners of inhabitants of that habitat, they go away. Why the invasive alien species come and destroy them, which are affected our floras. And our normal forestry that are used for building reinforcement, like Lagicularia rusmosa, the Avicenna nitinda, all these ones are affected. And this, no, they are scientific names. There's no way I can break them. Oh, and these ones, it makes erosion encroach in and make the place be what? Be muddy, which in the swamping area, it affects the mangrove swamp. And if you look very well, in this area, the white mangroves are not available in this area. The only white mangrove can only available when the red mangrove is there because of the pneumatophore, which will make the soil consolidated for the habitation of the Avicenna nitinda. So all these ones, as have encroached our environment, affect us directly and indirectly in all ramifications. Thank you.
The organizers of this symposium and being given an opportunity to speak on indiscriminate sand mining in Niger Delta. First and foremost, I want to quickly say here and now that I may not be able to say much about what is happening in my community because I've been outside my community for a long time. But being involved in dredging as an occupation, I think I'd rather speak on how indiscriminate sand mining in the Niger Delta can be curbed. And the effects will be stopped forthwith. Let me start by saying I want to give an advice to community, the people who are at the top echelon of the community. First and foremost, if you're going to give land for dredging, it shouldn't be free to whoever is dredging in that locality, because something has to be given back to the community. It's the normal thing. Like when I dredge in Akwa Ibom State, just August last year, we paid about $1 million plus to acquire the waterfront where we mounted our dredging equipment. And without mincing words, because lack of time, I may not be able to say much. But what I want to say is that I want to sound an advice to the community that they should endeavor to work, hand in hand with regulatory bodies. These regulatory bodies, they oversee the activities of sand mining in the Niger Delta. I, as somebody who is involved in dredging, I know that the few places where we have dredged, the regulatory bodies had overseen our activities. And I make bold to say here that wherever we dredge, we don't endanger the community where we're dredging, because we adhere to the rules and policies of these regulatory bodies. The regulatory bodies are basically NIWA, the National Inland Waterways, and we have the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel. Normally, as somebody who wants to get involved in dredging, these regulatory bodies, we have to give you guidelines that you have to follow. And as a person involved in dredging, if you follow the guidelines of these regulatory bodies, definitely you won't constitute danger to the host community. Quote me anywhere. Because normally if you're going to dredge, there is a distance you're asked to stay away from. Like usually you're supposed to dredge a minimum of 100 meters to the road. You can quote me. It comes from Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel. And you must be given the license by Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel that allows you to do dredging in any community.
So, my own best of knowledge, I'm from Bayelsa State, Tangana community in Ekirima local government. Last year I went to my community and I saw them actually doing this dredging. So I asked a few questions. Then, unknown to me that I will one day come and start talking about it. So, but from my information I got last year, I noticed that there's nothing like payment whatsoever. Anybody can wake up from their sleep and go into the river and get whatever you want. And my community is one of the communities that are suffering from flood. Even if there's a little rain, we just see the water entering everywhere because the level of dredging taking place there as a result of competition for building houses is quite big. Everybody wants to have one of the fancy houses and big houses. And the dredging is not far from, I can just stand there and look straight, you see them in their act of dredging. So I see that is a very big challenge there because the wave of the water, at the level the water is deep now is unlike before. And the flood rate is also so high. And I sincerely want to thank our professional colleague here who has done a lot of training through your lecture. I'm very appreciative of what you did just now.
From Ughelli in Isokono local government area. Now, for some of us out there that may not know the meaning of indiscriminate, let's try to understand it. When we say indiscriminate, we're talking about uncontrolled. It is not controlled. Every Tom, Dick and Harry, having made a few millions, who want to go into sand dredging without actually knowing what is involved. What the person wants, the only thing the person is concerned is the little he wants to, the profit he wants to make out of it. Now, on land acquisition, there are different ways of acquiring land. Some of our persons out there, especially in the rural areas, they are hungry, they don't have money, they have this plot of land. So when somebody with some millions just comes and so they don't even know the difference between freehold and leasehold in terms of selling of their land. The person will just come, push a few million, wave at their faces, they sell the land to them without even asking, what do you need the land for? What is the nature of the business? Therefore, those persons that indulge in the dredging, now they want to dredge. Like what I saw on the internet, if you must dredge, something you must do, maybe my brother here, Mr. Sajiri, will testify to that. Something you ought to do or you must do is to assess the level of sand you want to collect from that place and the period of time it will take you. But these persons, they don't do that because it doesn't even bother them. All they need is get the sand, sell, make their profit, buy flashy cars, build houses. That is what concerns them. Now, in the real truth, dredging brings fortune to those that are involved in it. They make money from it. The people in the community, they are gainfully employed. They work with them, they pay their salaries at the end of the month. Fine, that is the good part of it. What about the negative part of it? Now, when you dredge, like Mr. Sajiri said, you have to give at least 100 meters away from the town. They don't do that. If you don't give that distance, you are doing what? Causing problem in the nearest future to the buildings around that place. Let's look at a bridge at advocacy community. That bridge is a dead trap. Anywhere from now, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, or the next year. That bridge will do what? Collapse. Because the dredgers are just too close to that bridge. Some of us, we see the bridge, we know what that, we don't have the voice. What can we do? Apart from this medium that I'm opportune today now, I'm talking, maybe my brother who is going to air it, people will hear me, they will say, so this is actually what we are going to suffer from because of this dredging. Are you getting it? Now, apart from the buildings, the structures that are closed that will be destroyed in the nearest future, what about the aquatic life? The aquatic lives are also what? Endangered. Some species may what? They just get, which word do I use there? Get extinct. Then what about the water level? You are deepening the river every now and then because you are looking for what? Money. So these are some of the dangers that are involved in the sand dredging. Then coming to the way forward, what do we do? Now, I want to believe some of the communities where this dredging activity take place, the community leaders, they do benefit. How? the people, the dredgers, they give some stipends, some money to them for using their community for that business. Now, after collecting such money, what then can you tell the person when you are seeing the negative impact of that dredging act in your community? Absolutely nothing, because the person is what? Paying you. He bought the land to start with on a freehold basis.
I'm Benin Richard, the Executive Director of Community Development Advocacy Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what essence of this program today?
All right, we organize this program, Policy Dialogue, as against indiscriminate sand dredging in the Niger Delta. It's to educate our community people on how to resist this scourge that is happening in our communities as it is. So we are here with policymakers, which is those people from the environment, representative from the environment, Ministry of Environment, and at the local and state level, and community stakeholders, and we're educating them on how they should protect their environment. That's why we are here today.
So, do you think that people have benefited so far in the?
Yes. As it is, they have known the disadvantages and the problems that indiscriminate sand dredging will cause to their community and environment, and they have learned a lot. As you can see, we have youths that are here who do not know what environmental impact assessment means. Now they know it. They will now go back and take it back home and try to bring it further down to their communities and other members of their household on how to resist indiscriminate sand dredging in their communities and other vices that is being perpetrated against the environment.
The essence of this program is to engage policymakers, community representatives where any form of extraction is taking place, civil society organizations, those from the academic sector, to discuss the issues of indiscriminate sand mining in Niger Delta. The essence is for the community people to have access to engage in policymakers so that they will have a free flow. Concerns will be addressed. As today, as you can see at the program, communities were able to address the policymakers and they told them their mind. And policymakers have this understanding how community people feel and how they operate. So from the meeting today, the policymakers have vowed to step up their action because they are agreeing with us that they have actually failed in their duties in protecting the environment.
We have seen from all that took place in this program that officials of government are handicapped. They are tied, their hands are tied, so to speak, because they are unable to bring certain individuals in our communities under the law, and which is a very big concern for us. If our societies, if our government is to work well, if our societies is to work well, if our environment is to be protected, then we must ensure that every individual in our society is under the law, is brought under the rules and regulations of our government. And this we have seen that is not, the case. We have seen situations whereby big man, in quote, big men go about dredging sands in all our communities, and the institutions that are supposed to hold, regulate these activities are unable to, actually bring these people under the control of the law because they have the clout to be able to call on one big man or the other person in government to actually withdraw the powers given to the government officials, which is a very big concern for us. What I expect the government to do, especially those at the top in the environmental circle of this society, to ensure that no man, and I mean it, no man is bigger than the law. If Mr. Andrew, who is not known in government, breaks the law, he should be made to pay for that, for breaking the law. The same other person, Mr. Brown, who is a member, who was a member of government, if he breaks that same law, he should also pay the same price which Andrew has paid. I think that's the only way we can ensure that our environment is protected from this indiscriminate sand dredging.
As a government, we would like to fashion out a new way. And what we would like to fashion out is one, to ensure that there's a synergy between the levels of government. I expect that the Federal Ministry of Mining and Solid Minerals that confers this license will not issue the license without obtaining information from the local government level. So I'm expecting that there will be a synergy between the local government level, the ministry, and the federal ministry that is in charge of sand mining and dredging activity. Once we can have a synergy, we won't have this challenge of indiscriminate sand mining that we have. That is one level. Then number two, I also expect the community and the politicians not to interfere. We have had cases of community interfering once the sand dredgers have paid money to them. They prevent us from doing our job. I will expect the communities, especially the President General and the community here, to speak with their youth to ensure that we are giving free hand to do our inspection, to do our monitoring, to do our enforcement for the relevant laws. Then I also expect that there should be more awareness. There should be more awareness even to these dredgers themselves. Let them know that to make money is not the end point. That as they are making money, there should also be remediation action that they will take, because they have taken something from the land. They should also put something back. There should be infrastructural development, there should be road, there shall be drainage system, and there should be something that they will put back into that soil. We are told they pump water in. If they pump in water, it will be able to solidify the ground, and what they have taken, it will not cause damage to the environment. So I believe if this sand dredger will take a remediation action following their dredging activity, our environment will be protected.